Anyway, I would move on to Kirk, but really it's all of us here, isn't it? Because, Kirk, I know you've been playing more than the rest of us, but it's Halo Infinite, right?
Yeah. So, shall we talk about Halo?
Let's talk about Halo Infinite. This is a biggie.
It is a biggie.
It's huge.
So, I'll start us off. I know all of us have been playing it. We had a great Friday night with the lads, didn't we? It was
we did.
A lot of fucking fun. First and foremost, I don't know about you guys, but for me, it feels fantastic. A game to feel, it brings back those Halo 3 kind of days, but it feels right for the modern era, which I completely love. Graphically, wonderful. You can tell a lot of work's gone into it, especially since last year's canning of it. And for a beta, it's really, really polished.
Yeah,
don't you think?
I absolutely. I think, as multiplayer betas go, we've seen Battlefield come out, and Eddie and I have put some time into that. And
yeah, it wasn't so good, was it though?
It comes out, and this seems like a complete package. I mean, it's not. We'll go on to things that are missing, and which I'm sure they'll change. But this at least seems like a working, complete package for what they wanted to put out as a beta.
Yeah.
And for that, it feels very polished, and I do think it looks really nice. And the feel is what we wanted, because I think you're bang on with the Halo 3 feel. I think it's Halo 3 meets modernization.
Do you know what it is? It's a spiritual successor to Halo 3.
I think so. Yeah.
So you can omit Halo 4 and 5 out of the equation, and this is what the next Halo should have been. So
what do you guys think of that?
I'm gonna save my judgment for the end, because there are a lot of objections, and I don't want to. I don't want to ruin the circle jerk that we're all gonna have about Halo.
Okay,
so.
circle
jerk.
Very nice.
Oh.
Well, let's continue the circle jerk.
I don't
Let's
disagree
continue
with anything so far.
Right. Okay. Pete's on board so far.
He's on board. Okay, love it. Well, I mean, what do you guys think of the guns and the sound, and especially the sound of the guns? Because to me, they sound fucking punchy. And I was playing it the other night with my headphones on, and it sounds even better when you've got headphones on, because you can really feel that the thump of the rocket launcher, the needler. You can hear the crystals from the needler.
Sorry, the rocket launcher. I don't think that's its name.
No, it's not. It's called the Spanker. Which is a fucking great name for a rocket launcher.
There is the potential with this, and I don't disagree with you. I think the guns sound great. I think they look great. I think they actually feel like they're hitting. I think that's great. There is the potential here with the hype, and I knew that I'd love this, and I do have that feeling like I'm all into it. And even the bits that I don't really think are amazing, I'm still calling amazing in my mind.
See, that's interesting you say that, because for me, I was hesitant. I was like, this is their last chance for me now, I think. After I didn't like Halo 5 at all, and Halo 4 wasn't a favourite of mine. So it was kind of the be-all and end-all for me. But after
we did play the in-flight test, though, didn't we?
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. And then after having just that little glimpse of a weekend of joy, I was like, okay, this could be okay. And then this has come out, and I was like, right, I'm back on board now, and I'm just having a blast when I'm doing it. What's your guys? What's your favourite mode at the moment? Because I'm a big fan of Oddball personally.
I actually agree. I think Oddball is my favourite so far, at least in the non-Slayer versions.
Yeah,
I like Oddball, and what's the other one that I like? The one where you capture the
Stronghold.
A, B, and C. Stronghold. I like that.
Yeah.
That's a pretty cool one.
Stronghold,
Proper tactics.
have I played that one? Is that the one where you capture zones?
Yes,
but we played it on Big Team Battle, didn't we? Like the one on Quick Play and Big Team Battle is slightly different, but similar concepts.
Yeah.
Ben, you loved Stockpile as well, didn't you? Absolutely loved Stockpile.
Oh, stop! Is that the one with the seeds?
Yeah.
I still don't know what happens in those.
Love planting seeds, didn't you?
That was fantastic. Just
spread
it
my seed.
Where do I put it?
In our circle,
Yeah. Yeah. Like
I also. Who was it who said just after the game, I like Capture the Flag because at least you know what you're doing? And it's like, that game is literally called Stockpile. What did you think you were doing?
Yeah, I might have said that.
I feel like it would. I feel like it would have been Jack personally, but
he's not here, so let's blame him.
Yeah,
the modes that we have available right now, as of the date of this podcast, we have Quick Play, we have Ranked Play, and we have big team battle. They're the three, aren't they?
They
So quick play, for those who haven't played, is your general team-based Slayer.
4v4s.
4v4. It's different 4v4 games, so it could be capture the flag. It's something called oddball, which just mentioned, which is holding a skull and who can hold it for the most amount of time. Which team? There's zone capture, which was Stronghold, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So there's various different team games. They're in basically one playlist. So you click on quick play and you don't know what you're going to get. You don't know what maps you're going to play. You don't know what games you're going to play, but you're just going to be in 4v4 games.
Yeah.
Then you have ranked play, which is the same 4v4 games, I believe, but it's with battle rifles as your main weapon, and you don't have any map. Is that right?
No radar.
No radar. So you can't see where other people are. So that's the ranked games. And then you have big team battle, which is how many on how many? 12 on 12, 16, 16?
12v12, yeah.
12v12. And they are slightly different games. There's that stockpile game, which is collecting seeds on the map and then dropping them back in your base. Then there's like capturing the zones, and then there's Team Slayer, which is the just all out team versus team. So they're the modes that they have at the moment, which we'll go on to in a minute. But just to set up, it's different to maybe on Call of Duty, where you may play you get to play particular playlists, or even comparing to previous Halos, where you had a bit more freedom in what you could select and what you could the games that you'd be playing. At the moment, there's only those three modes, but we are in beta, and if we compare it to Battlefield last week, they only had a couple of modes as well. So it seems to be an interesting start that these first-person shooters are making.
I mean, have you guys experienced any bugs with this game yet, even though it's a beta?
No, actually, I haven't.
No.
The only thing I
when
had
we're loading for a game, haven't we had troubles during loading a game? Do you remember?
Yeah, that was problematic, loading in for the first time.
Yeah, and I had a problem. It was on the stream actually. You'll see if you go watch it back. I got kicked out of a game midway. Went back to the menu, but then it loaded me back in.
However, you got to load back into that game, didn't you? So that was
quite good. But it didn't indicate what it was doing. I just got chucked back into the main lobby, and then there were 6 Spartans standing above each other as well in the background when there's only meant to be 4. So I didn't understand what was going on. But
I think there are some things to iron out, but I think as betas go, it's
the game when you're in the game, like, you're not seeing random shit happening, are you? Everything seems to be hitting where it's meant to hit. People are where they're meant to be, unless they're doing dodgy things. I don't really know what I mean by that. I'll tell you what I do. No, I'll tell you what I do mean by that. I mean, when you get into a warthog with your mates, and then you go into the enemy base. I fucked this up. Someone else go.
What is
happening there? Where were you taking us with that?
Where is that?
You know what happened?
I'll try that. I'll try it again.
He collapsed in on himself.
I did.
Yeah, that was an implosion.
Fight or flight. This is exactly what happened in the Warthog as well. So I had 2 teammates in the Warthog, and one of the enemy team came and stole the Warthog off of me, and then drove the 2 teammates into the enemy base and just demolished them. That's 200 IQ, that is.
Pete and I actually had a situation, didn't we, where we were in a Warthog. Somebody commandeered our Warthog and then just drove us off a cliff.
Yeah. That's fantastic.
And we were
2 for 1.
We were just in awe, like, okay, you've that's amazing.
Yeah. That said, I will also add, one of my favourite things with this so far has been the new attachments. So obviously the grapple. But actually, and my favourite 2 kills so far in that game have been grappling into melee someone I've been shooting, which is just great fun. And even better was the repulsor, because I had someone backing away towards a cliff edge shooting me while I was desperately trying to reload, and the repulsor just launched them off the edge of the map.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Fantastic.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Love those.
Yeah, the power weapons and the abilities are interesting. They're cool, and I think they are relatively balanced at the moment as well. Like
they are, yeah.
Nothing has appeared to me that has been incredibly overpowered.
There's that one. I can't remember what it's called. It's one that's got the blade on the end of the gun, which you don't even use, but it shoots.
Just called the blade.
Is it called the blade?
I think so.
and that's a one-shot kill. I think it can even take out a tank if you manage to hit the tank properly. But it's high risk, high reward. That weapon, because it takes forever to load.
What do we think about the map design so far? Like on the small maps and the big maps. Let's start with the small maps. Like how are you finding those?
I'm enjoying the small maps personally.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. They're really tight. They're easy to remember as well.
Yes, one thing I'm finding that.
That's one thing I always I didn't like about Halo 4 and 5. Like the maps just looked confusing. I didn't really know where I was, and I couldn't get my bearings very easy. Whereas,
I think on 5, oftentimes the map had the same design as it went round, and so you didn't know where you were in it.
Exactly. So there were no like special locations that helped you remember exactly where you were there?
Yeah, I couldn't. I didn't play too much of it, but I do remember that. And the big maps as well. I think. I mean, Eddie, you're having a whale of a time on the big maps because you just get in one of those fucking vehicles and you just kill everyone.
What was he did with the Scorpion?
What?
The tank?
The Scorpion, I think, was 28 kills, and then the Waspies were, I think, 16 each. Yeah, I like a vehicle, apparently.
I think everyone noticed that.
I'm a vehicle guy.
Yeah, single-handedly holding up the team,
yeah. This is the thing. I can't even really speak for the big team battle maps because my life expectancy on them is about 12 seconds.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. But
Pete, I'm a big fan of the small maps because I'm a guy who likes to use the assault rifle. So I mean, you put that on a big team battle and it diminishes to nothing.
Yeah. There's a weapon we haven't mentioned yet, and that is the gravity hammer.
Yes.
It's a very dominant thing, isn't it?
It is a hugely dominant weapon. I mean, that thing absolutely slays whoever's got it, and if you can use it well.
So for listeners, the gravity hammer, it would appear in this Halo, has a wider range of effect. So when it takes longer to swing than in previous Halos, but when it hits the ground, it has a larger effect area.
Yeah, I think it's got an electrical pulse that comes out of it as well if you hold the trigger before you let go. Ooh. So I think it like pushes people back or does like the chain reaction damage sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm the type of guy that sees the gravity hammer on the floor and goes, "Nah,
nope.
You're all right.
Nope,
you're all right. I'll leave that for somebody else who knows what they're doing.
I'll leave that for the bigger boys.
And half the time that's the other team, Ben.
Yeah, I'll leave that for the other team so that they can tank us.
They can kill me when I come back from dying just now. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. What are you finding about playing with other people? There's been a lot of chat about play the objective.
Yeah, people aren't doing that, are they? I've seen a lot of stuff on Twitter where people are complaining like, capture the flag, not fucking Slayer. Can you look after the guy with the oddball, please, and not just go and do your own thing.
Yeah.
So I think that's people are playing lone wolf on most of the games, and I dread to think what big team battle ones are like.
Well, I think this brings us nicely onto the negatives, and I kind of get the feeling that this is where Eddie will jump in. But
suspiciously quiet.
Nicely onto the so just on that particular point, the play the objective point, I think there's a couple of things that 343 and the design that they've got so far, and that is contributing to this. So you can't choose to have specific playlists in terms of game type at the moment. So let's say you always wanted to play Slayer, you can't choose to do that. You can't choose to always play like your oddballs or your capture the flags and stuff. So you're getting a lot of people who want to just play Slayer, playing these other games that they wouldn't normally want to play, and they're just playing it like Slayer.
Yeah.
I think that's contributing. And secondly, it's the Battle Pass currently. So does anybody want to explain the Battle Pass as it, or Kurt, do you want to explain how they currently set up?
Well, I think they've changed it now, but I haven't had a chance to go in and see what exactly it is. But before they did the changes, you weren't getting XP for just playing games, so there was no way to really like level up.
Oh, it's just objectives, wasn't it? Is that right?
Yeah, it's the objective. Sorry, the objectives that are meant to be specific to you. They're meant to be tailored to you or something. So it could be something as stupid as getting a warthog and get 3 kills with a grenade as a passenger. But so to be able to level up in the battle pass, you'd have to get into a warthog with someone, and your sole purpose to try and level up on the battle pass would be to get kills with that grenade. Like, you're not going to be able to play the game properly, are you? Because
so basically, it's encouraging people to do actions that they wouldn't do in the normal course of playing, in order to level up, which may fuck up winning a particular game for your team.
Yeah.
And I think since that, they've recognised that there's a problem with this battle pass, and what they've done now, which isn't a big fix, which they haven't, I don't think they've done enough on this. All they've done is made it so that when you play a game, you get 50 XP for playing that game. So you always get something for playing. And at the moment, at the lower ends, it's 1,000 XP that you need to level up on the battle pass.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about the rest of you, but I think there should be, for every game that you play, there should be a skill-based XP you get. So however well you've done on any given game type. So
yes,
if it was a Slayer, you get 20 kills and a couple of deaths, you should get more points than the next person who got 20 deaths and two kills.
I think it should just be something simple. I think it should be, because you get points for your performance in that game. So let's say you get 2,000 points. That's already built into the game. Just divide it by 10, and then you get that.
Yeah,
it's like just something simple to say that's your game XP, and then you can have the objective XP on top.
I agree.
I think they need to do something like that, because otherwise you can get people earning more XP in the game and leveling up their battle pass quicker than people who are actually phenomenal at Halo.
It's true. I'm kind of interested to hear what Eddie's got to say.
Yeah.
He's been very quiet. He's been very good.
It's a lot of build-up, isn't it?
Yeah. I've been quite well behaved, haven't I? There's been a few times I'm like, no, because, just let it go. Right, okay. Look, before I go into these points, I think it's a good game. I do, and I'm really, really enjoying it. But when I've gone online and seen everyone going mental about how incredible a game it is, I've kind of got angry, and I went too far the other way, if I'm being brutally honest. There's a few things. So, Kirk, you know what? You set it up perfectly. When I looked down the dock and I went, no, disagree. So I'm actually going to go through them. Feels fantastic, like Halo 3. It is Halo 3. We are playing Halo 3. Graphically lovely? No. It looks good, like the guns. But here's the thing. When you release a game in 2021, I want to look into a game and go, fuck me, that's amazing. Battlefield 2042, rated at the moment the worst game of all time. I load into those maps and go, fucking hell, this looks, whoa, awe-inspiring. Same with all, open world games I go into these days. Awe-inspiring. Not one map has done this for me in Halo 3. Very polished. Totally agree. I think for a beta, especially when you compare it to a game that came out, this week, like Battlefield, yeah, they've done a fucking great job there. Gunplay, I think, is not nearly as good as it should be as a game that comes out in 2021, especially considering they have free range with weapons. If you compare this to Warzone, let's compare it to Warzone with guns. There is no one gun that is better than any of the guns in Warzone. You know what's funny? I'm playing Halo, and the one gun that I went, oh, this has some thwack to it, is the shittest weapon ever that I've used, is that scoped machine gun. Have you used that one yet?
Yeah.
Like the tug, fucking 12 headshots later, and the guy actually kind of loses shield. I don't think that's good enough, especially when you've got guns like the Needler and you've got all these futuristic weapons. You could have some really awesome sounds and, I don't know, vibrations and what. You kind of have free reign because no one's obviously used these weapons, so no one knows what they feel or sound like. You could really make some really inspiring things here. The maps, I think, as I said, with none of them are awe-inspiring. Some of them are just, I swear, outright lazy. Ben, I take your point that they're easy to remember. Before going on this tirade, you said that, and I went, "Oh, fair enough. I guess that is good." But why don't they have maps where you actually feel like you're in a place that exists? Like all these hallways have no furniture in; they have nothing in there. They're literally just hallways. Who is in this building? Who has designed this building? It just.
That's a good point.
it just seems lazy. All of this, look, as I said, I like it. I really do like it. I really hope people play this for a long time because I've had so much fun every time I've jumped this on with the lads. But I think this is Halo 3 with... If this came out... When did Halo 3 come out?
2007?
2007?
Yeah.
Yeah. If this game came out in 2009, I would go, this is good. But it came out in 2021, and because of that, I go, this is... Look, this is good, but because everyone's going mental about it, I'm going to go as far as say this is not acceptable.
I think Eddie, you've actually got some good. I mean, not acceptable is too far, but I think,
I feel like my initial comment wasn't big enough, so I had to go bigger.
You did great up until that. But I think you've made some good points. One thing I would say about one thing that stuck out was the graphic side. I do agree that the difference between Halo and other games is that Halo is almost it's that borderline realistic through to kind of, it's not cartoon, but it's that kind of like,
I know what you mean.
Yeah,
it's some kind of hybrid where it's more on the realistic side, but it kind of gets away with a lot because of that. And when you compare it to like Battlefield or something, and they go for ultra realism, and I think this is what you get from, you know, when you load into the ice kind of environment on Battlefield, and you go, whoa, shit, this looks great. You don't get that of any Halo map, but that's okay because I just don't think their design choice encourages that.
Yeah.
I think it looks really good. It doesn't look outstanding. It doesn't look amazing, but I think they've made a lot of improvements for last year, and I think this does look very good. And I think in the campaign we're going to see a hell of a lot more of it. I think what you say about the level, what you said something very important where you said about the level design, that they almost don't feel like real places.
No.
And I do agree with that these feel like maps designed for a computer game.
That's because the whole story is not real.
You don't know that. You do not know that this could be happening somewhere.
Infinite
in
universes,
a land far, far away. Yeah,
exactly.
But it's also a beta. Keep in mind.
No, Pete, don't hide behind that. This is the game. It's not a beta. They call it the beta because they're talking about editing playlists and stuff. None of that stuff's going to change.
They're calling it a beta because there's going to be more maps that come out on the 8th. Yeah, this isn't the full multiplayer. It can be.
But these aren't beta maps. They are maps that exist in the real game. You know, it's not. I don't think we can hide behind that. Like, this is essentially the full multiplayer. There might be a few more maps. They can change up the game modes and everything we talked about there because that's all kind of tertiary stuff. But the core game, and don't get me wrong, I think this game is brilliant. I think it's outstanding. But you know, that's not going to change. But I don't think that that's nothing game breaking in my eyes. But I'm just saying that Eddie's points, I understand where he's coming from.
Yeah, I do. I just think that there's a couple of points, Eddie, that I don't agree with. Mainly where you're saying it's Halo 3, exactly the same as Halo 3. I can't jump on board with that because, or unless you explain yourself a little bit better, because if you go and play Halo 3, this is not Halo 3. It's what you might remember Halo 3 to be, but it will feel a lot different now if you play the two side by side.
Yeah, Halo 3 is garbage when you go back and play it. But
no, I do recognise that. I'm sure it will. It's just I feel like it doesn't go far enough. And to go back to Ben's point, I think it was Pete that after day one of playing it, I phoned him up and went, "This isn't good enough." And it was two things. What was it, Pete? One was the fact that I couldn't aim down scopes. Oh, and the other thing was everyone was just bouncing and jumping around like in fucking Fortnite or something. And Pete said something very good, this is Halo, this is kind of what game it is. It's not your war zones and your Battlefield. It's got its own thing, like
it's not grounded. It's not grounded like those two, because those two are like realistic, aren't they?
So since then, and that point can be put to the maps as well. It's trying to be Halo, and it's funny because even though I'm furious at some of the decisions they've made, if they actually went down a more serious and more authentic route. I'd probably get angry that they've gone away from their core values.
Their roots.
Why are you trying to be like COD? This isn't good enough.
Exactly.
Eddie, you just said about aim down scope. Like, remember in Halo, you never aim down scopes.
No, you didn't.
Like, that's not a thing that Halo. You remember when you used to have to click the thumbstick in to like zoom in and stuff like that? It's just
you still do with the sniper rifle on this. So that's
still do with the sniper. Yeah. But you're right. It is a different type of game. You've got to accept that you're not comparing it to those. But
that said, you've now really made me want to kick off the discussion about the fact that COD and Battlefield are not realistic at all. But I'm not going to, because
they're very realistic.
I feel they are not. They are just an uncanny valley version of it. It's a nightmare.
Hey, when I run and slide, I can slide 20 feet. All right.
Yeah, perfectly realistic.
Have you not seen all those soldiers slide cancelling everywhere?
Oh, God, yeah. I mean,
is that not what you see in like the World War II footage? Slide
it's
cancelling.
Day one of boot camp, all right, but still,
it's just slide cancel. You get chucked out of the army.
Yeah. But no, what I meant by my mention of better earlier, Ben, was the fact that things like the empty corridors that will get fixed. That'll get changed.
I don't think so.
If they want to do that, that's something they can fix in a tiny patch.
I don't think they want to change. Yeah, it's not. I don't think they do want to change that. They don't.
Okay, then that's a different point. But it can easily be rectified if hundreds of people think like Eddie and go, "Why isn't there a desk with papers here?" or whatever.
I want to feel like I'm at work.
Yeah.
Why
can't I feel like I'm roaming through the office?
Papers.
It's those sort of things are fixable. I think. For me, at least, especially given the early release, which we all could have expected, but aren't we happy it happened?
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's brilliant. Absolutely phenomenal. And the only thing for me that's been disappointing is a little bit different, which is that all of the new guns seem rubbish compared to the classics. Like, Eddie, you mentioned about the scoped machine gun. That one is a joke.
Yeah, I don't like that personally.
It's terrible. But there's that pulse rifle, the Sentinel beam,
Yeah.
Looks like it causes carnage. And if you go into the training mode, you know, the one where it's got like them just standing still for you to try out new guns, it causes absolutely massive amounts of damage. But the moment anyone moves, you will barely ever hit them with that thing.
Yeah, I used it on a Banshee and blew it up in one. It was quite
nice.
simple.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Like, but most of them, especially in like the normal combat, which is bouncing side to side, sliding, grappling hook everywhere, machine guns, and if you're reloading, grenading people by bouncing it off the floor at them. Like, none of the new guns seem to do anything in those situations. Like, in the basic combat, they don't seem useful at all.
Yeah, what's that gun? What's that gun where you fire it and it like rebounds off all the surfaces?
Oh, it's like a shotgun, isn't it?
It's like a shotgun. It's like a fire.
I don't know what it's called
or something, but
that is a new one.
That's quite a cool one. That's a power weapon though.
Yeah, funny thing with that, you can have a horizontal shot or a vertical shot. If you do a vertical shot, obviously you've got to be a lot more precise, but it's an instant kill if you get it on.
I won't be using those, Kirk, because I won't kill with the first shot.
Ben sticks to the assault rifle and that'll do.
Yeah, I'll just stick with that.
What's the gun I start with? I'll stick with that.
Yeah, absolutely. That'll do me. Right. So, in conclusion, I suppose for these guys, this one, as of today, how would you score this out of 10?
I'll give it a solid 8 where it is.
Okay.
I actually think I'd agree with that. I'd put it at about an 8.
Eddie?
It's difficult. As the game as a whole, taking into consideration the beta, everything, I would probably give it a 7.
Fair enough. I think I'd also say 8, and I think there's room for improvement by doing easy things like the playlists. I think this could easily be a 9 out of 10 through just giving solo Slayer, duos, matches, ranked big team battles.
I bet they will.
Where you can choose game specific. I genuinely think, and I said this to Pete earlier, that they didn't know how successful it would be, and I think they didn't want to spread themselves too thin. So they thought, let's have 3 modes where everyone jumps in, and so everyone gets a game really quickly.
Yes,
and then over time we can spread it out. where we get a few more maps in there. We can say, okay, we'll give them Slayer now solo. We'll get some duo matches now, and they'll just. And when they've done that, I think maybe on the 8th of December, moving into Christmas, I think this game is set up to firmly be a 9 out of 10. But at the moment, I would also say 8 out of 10.
Still a great game though.
Yeah,
and that's just a multiplayer.
And actually,
really enjoying it,
guys. Don't you reckon there might have been an element of server protection in keeping it quite limited at this point? Because so many games at launch these days have massive server crashes when they're online.
But isn't it surprising?
They don't seem to have had that, have they?
No, they haven't. They've absolutely smashed it with with that.
It's been pretty much stable, albeit
they've had no issues, no real issues. So you can always, and no kickouts as well, apart from Kirk once.